penalty for your.
Well, you want to take a look at my bike. I got a
Oh, you have it? Oh, good, good, good. Oh, I can't wait. Is it a bike corral? So we have to go outside the fair?
Yeah, unless you can get me in somehow.
I think my wrist gives you a... Oh, sweet. Now that I have my milkshake, I can head out. Okay, I'm going to go check out Mr. Bull's bike. Oh, outside? Yeah.
You can actually see it from here. It's like got red and white stripes on the front of it.
Is this something I would be interested in?
It's a fair bike, it's got fairing, wraparound stock, electric bike, long wheelbase recumbent, electric drivetrain with a fairing.
Yeah.
Two-wheel.
What makes the fairing?
A place called Zipper down in Bonnie Doon, which is actually really close to Santa Cruz. And the sock is made by a woman who has a shop in Santa Cruz. And the bike is made in Watsonville, which is just down the coast of Santa Cruz.
Familiar with the area? I lived in Santa Cruz for 9 years.
It's called Easy Racers. Have you heard of Easy Racers?
I will look them up, for sure. I'm Seth.
Bill.
Bill, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Seth. So this is your custom creation, or are you actually selling these? Or?
I'm going to be selling them June 1st.
Wow. So you got
a Kickstarter.
You got a hub loader. Oh, you got to take one.
You don't have to take one. Yeah, hub motor, controller, cycle analyst from these guys. Horse. No, too. What else is there?
You have to do that. I gotta keep on my gang.
Yeah, don't rest on your laurels, but
version 3.
You can call me a fortune. It was still
version 4 is what we need to be working on.
Brady.
So what kind of a controller do you got here?
Right there, 40 amp.
Is that it there? It looks huge.
It's inside here.
Oh, it's inside there.
I busted it open and wired it up to a key switch.
The key switch on the side as you're on that?
Yeah.
That's very nice. And the battery packed in is
in the ammo box here.
Okay.
Yep.
So he says at 30 mile range, how much battery capacity?
16 amp. 44.
Okay.
Now operating is 50 to 42.
Okay.
What should I tell people? Like, ask me my mark. Should I say 50? 4 packs.
Yeah, it's a little less of a thing. I prefer to think in terms of water.
It's lipo battery?
Power is power. Power is
The 7 series? Or 6?
Pretty
6, yeah.
So your 12 series. Yeah, no,
this would benefit
that's a we call 13 series of 40.
And because it's a trike, it's
So I would say you're getting 12 series, but really
the problem is it might take
45 or 40.
You have to do it in such a way you put your head out, or you got something.
What's your opinion on lipo? You got an opinion?
I would never do it in any kind of production.
Really?
Yeah.
It's dangerous.
You take a gamble and a chance that it could involve people's houses burning down. And it's not, there's people who tried to tout this supposed safety, but we had like a completely unprovoked house fire. And one of our staff actually, he was just lipo battery, and this is a commercial lithium polymer e-bike battery, not even a hobby city one. And he was charging in his bedroom, and he woke up in the morning, and like billowing clouds of smoke, and then they went to frag it out, and then the smoke burst into flames, and it became like a giant fireball. Wow. They got it out of the house before it did any damage other than the smoke. And yeah, like if he wasn't sleeping right there and had him woken up right then, it's like an old wooden house that would have just cut down like there. And so, but I can't say other chemistries are immune to that either. But at least the QC control on like 18650 cells is a much higher percentage failure rate than you get with the larger format lithium polymer. And
18650.
That's like your laptop size battery, but like they make them in such huge production volumes that they can dial in every aspect of quality control. And really fun. But then, yeah, there's a lot of companies now that put packs together based on that cell format. And we, like, our own experience has been a much higher, much lower percentage of failure of return. It's kind of fun to know that packs built out of that than and
let's check out the NCM batteries.
Yeah,
With the latest version of.
To me, it's odd lithium. Like I don't. It's not so like. Yeah. I don't know. Like I've heard people tell all kinds of great stuff, but I'm always skeptical. I don't. Like I wait to see it before I believe it when it comes to batteries, because they've heard endless promises of every new thing around the corner, and even if it's available now. And and every time it's let down. And we've had some horrible reliability with iron phosphate batteries.
Really? Which ones?
Oh, we're with 4 or 5 different Chinese manufacturers, always a larger format, not ourselves, both cylindrical and prismatic. And
Still quite a bit of distance.
and it's not that the standard lithium manganese is kind of a predictable deterioration over time.
That's right.
But that's like you can count on it. Like you know that after 2 years the battery might be at 80% of its capacity. And
Only 2 years.
Yeah,
there you go.
2 years of regular use, and then 2 years of less occasional use. You won't notice it as much. And if you charge and discharge twice a day, like some people do, even after a year and a half, you're like, okay, the battery's a little more. But you can count on that. Whereas with the iron phosphate, we have some packs that we sold 4 years ago that are still going strong, but 30% of those batteries came back within about 3 months. Cells are randomly sorted internally with like cells. Like you can just get, and I think it's just the chemistry alone is such a small part of the overall picture of what makes a quality battery. And so much has to do with the facility producing the cells and the level of finesse that they've dialed in.
What about the A123 cells?
They were fabulous.
They're available.
Oh, the B grade ones? I don't like that. That's too big of a format for yeah. Like I think for bikes, big squares. Just where do you put a big square?
So you do all your chores in one
You
hand.
got those front pannier just about
I use this.
It's a bit too wide. And no, I mean that's a depleted supply. Like, you can't base a business on a B grade surplus cell from a company that's no longer producing them. So yeah, there's an opportunity when you can exploit that for
as a hobbyist.
As a hobbyist, like
Got a flyer?
Cells are fabulous. But as a business, you can never break into any of these stores. They would never sell to this market in the first place. And so it wasn't an option that was on the table, even if the cells were good for it. So, and yeah, now that that's not even an option on the table, our feeling is that companies like Samsung and Panasonic, and they recognize how big the e-bike market is, and they'll tailor their 18650s for higher power capabilities where the e-bikes need it, and that will for a long time probably be like the most dependable battery.
The nice thing about the small ones is you can shape them into a pack, whatever shape and size.
I mean, you can see the frame batteries on our bikes, right? Like, you can go taper to a point, and so long as you've got that 650 millimeter width in your thing, then yeah, layout options are supremely flexible, and you can't do like one of the cases that used to be made for big format cells and like bolt together tabs. Oh, you can replace bad cells when they come up. And the problem is those large format cells is you actually do need to go around and replace bad cells.
I hate working on batteries. Every time I open up a battery, replace a cell, it's always short something out.
And so yeah, it's a downside that a bunch of tablet 18650s are not serviceable, but the necessity to service them is so greatly reduced compared to how often with big format cells we'd find that, oh, this is a dud cell that's got a soft short and it's draining down, or this one started leaking, or this one's pooping a bit.
What about the ping batteries? What cells? Because he's using pouch cells. Do you have customers using
30-mile-an-hour electric drive?
And we have some customers who have a lot of problems with ping batteries, but mostly it's the BMS wiring. We have one customer with the ping battery smoke and do a venting, like, I would actually caught on fire, but anyone who says, oh, iron phosphate, totally safe. She had to drag it out on his patio porch as it continued its whole like outgassing scene.
Truck is done.
But we've had customers that bought ping batteries 3.5 years ago that haven't lost an ounce of capacity. And the stuff we sold 3.5 years ago, half of it's off the road because it's no longer that useful. And I feel like, he's offering a battery at half the price that we could ever hope to do. And some, a lot of his customers are getting better mileage from it. But all it takes is like, yeah, I don't know if so it's actually interesting. Todd sitting right there was saying Ian had a face-to-face meeting with Pig. So I started hearing some of the background on that side with that. Yeah, the thing is Ping is that he sells direct, so there's no wholesale or dealer options possible. And so it means that even if there's an upstanding shop that wants to say, we'd love to be able to offer the Ping batteries, there's no potential business.
There's no business for you.
There's no business for anyone. We'd just be seen as some inconvenient middleman, and then there's not much value added we could do. Like, you could put them in a nicer enclosure casing and do things, but people just look at battery price and they look at watt hours and dollars, and they're not adding in, oh, does it include like a built-in on-off key switch? Does it include a cable harness and DC connectors? Like,
Or some consistent way of mounting it to the bike.
and so those all, like, when you add all those things, it becomes a significant percent. And then the batteries we sell, you open it up, like the heat shrunk pack inside it is only maybe 70%, 75% of the total materials cost. But people, on the price comparison of batteries, you just have volt amp hours dollars. And so yeah, we direct people to ping off. If someone wants a high amp hour, lower cost battery, but we make it clear that any issues they have with that, it's Ping's responsibility to sort. And the thing, but what I was saying about Ping's business model is he can't, like, my feeling is that the best way to grow is to give other businesses, other dealers an avenue to sell those parts and support them. And to do that, you need to offer basically like a 40% margin. So the range that like 35%.
You're probably getting down to his cost.
Way less than his cost. Like they run businesses at that like 10%. Like and since they don't do, like, when we do warranties, like if someone has a failure, we'll send them a replacement part. That's not really what happens. Like if someone has a Ping battery, has an issue, well, you might get a replacement BMS or a single replacement cell. There's no margin for them to single whole replacement battery. They would just completely undermine their thing, but that's it makes it impossible to give that, like, we've got your ass covered support if you run a business on such narrow margins. So we try to assume that if the worst case happens, then we just have to full out replace 20% of everything that we've sold. That wouldn't, like, completely cause the ultimate bankruptcy of our business. It's like, you never know. And we've had batches of things where there's been issues. We'd have 100 motor controllers in the field, and it turns out in one case they put a really big heat sink on a regulator that wasn't bolted to the casing, and over time would fatigue and break the legs. And it's like and we had no idea, like, it was just one batch suddenly had a different heat sink on it. We didn't open and inspect or look for that little detail, but the problem wouldn't surface until so much vibration eventually fatigued it. And we have to be prepared to just say, oh shit, like that was a bona fide manufacturing error that is really our responsibility, and here's a replacement motor controller. And if you pricing within margin, when those situations come up, back to our business. And I think Paul in Shanghai has that issue where he sells things at low cost. He thinks he's doing a favor by doing that, but when people, and we've had some unhappy customers involved who, like, they're glad they got their great deal, but when there were issues with it, Paul was not there to say, oh shit, like this really is a fault, here's a replacement part for you. And then they feel like they're...
Whenever I buy something from Taiwan or China, I always think, well, I'm going to buy this thing, and if something happens, I'm going to have to troubleshoot it.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll get a spare part or something, or maybe a controller board. They got a controller board that's cycling.
Wow.
And it's too expensive. It should be stuff.
Yeah, but for e-bikes to have a broader audience, the people in the North American one, who aren't like you and me and able to, like, sort that stuff out, need to be able to get it from somebody who will just say, yeah, we've got your ass covered. And even not at least turnkey support. And the parts, like,
were they all sticking together, or was it kind of
the parts we sell are nowhere near at that. That's why, like,
I think you guys do a good job because you also cater to the tinker.
And that's people always think, your website's so crappy, you can make it so easy to click and buy these things, you can sell. And like, it would be such a liability if our sales volume doubled, and that extra doubling was just people who say, oh, e-bike, cool, I want to buy one. We would be swamped and overwhelmed trying to actually get those people.
Bring a gear puller if you're going to get
Have you thought about expanding beyond one store?
Oh, we never do another retail shop. Like, one retail is fine because you get to meet some people face to face. We want to make parts that really lend themselves well to OEM usage and complete electric bikes. And we really want to make parts that other kit sellers are happy to see. So yeah, there's lots of people, lots of bike shops that will offer conversion retrofits. We'd love to be able to sell them parts that we can give a 3-year, 5-year warranty on. And like the motor controller we've been working on with ASI, like we want to make that so it's a 3-phase brushless motor controller that will work from 15 volts up to 100 volts, any hall, so it's without sensitive or sensorless, and geared, direct drive, you want region, you don't have anything, all those parameters, super easy to compete, but you just have to swap one motor controller that will bring any e-bike to life. And so all these bikes have proprietary connections and their own tone pace. Every time they fail, and these bike shops really don't have a clue how to reverse engineer and find, oh, I see, like your pedal assist system. And they never will. Like the industry on its own everyone wants their own set, but they follow the Bionex model of like, really, they don't want you to use a third-party battery. It has to be their battery. They don't want you to use a third-party. It's very closed. So we want to make as open parts as possible. That whenever parts of those closed systems fail, you could drop in our open one and then open up their kit. And so someone has a Bionex motor code. Bionex is a bit tricky because the controller's in the motor, but you could pull that out, bring out the phase wires, and then connect a universal controller to it. And yeah, I hope to just put a serious challenge to the closed model by having an open model. That the closed model, the problem is that all the slick, well-integrated stuff is following that, and so whereas all the openness stuff is really kind of janky. You know, you can get open batteries, open motor controllers, and it works fine for our crowd, but it doesn't work fine for the crowd that wants a refined-looking, dependable e-bike. And so I want to elevate the open stuff to like the same aesthetic standard and reliability standard that the closed model has. Oh yeah, but it's not. It's technologically totally doable, and I think it would be great for like what makes bicycles so great is that so many different companies make things in the same interface standard. I can buy a 20-year-old bike, take it to a bike store, and upgrade every single component. I can take a screw-on freewheel from 1985 and replace it from 2007. You know, I can like. There's been a few changes. You know, like
Shimano comes out with their new bottom bracket.
Yeah, and unfortunately, a lot of the bike standard is really a proprietary standard of Shimano that people have to license. But that's one of the marvelous things that bikes outlive their producers.
Hey, Rich, is your hub motor? Are you going to be able to put a free hub on that?
Of course, I wouldn't do a rear hub any other way.
I've got a friend of mine who's a dealer in Cummins in the Bay Area, and he's waiting for a hub motor that has it's a good quality hub motor with a free hub on.
There's a few. I've probably seen maybe 3 or 4 Chinese motors now that have a proper cassette free hub on them. So I think within a year that'll start being more the norm. And but they're almost all geared motors. I don't think I've seen the direct drive, the G series crystallite motor is a cassette. But it's a pretty the G series motor weighs 3.6 kilos I think, and the hub motor that we did, which is like a full size stator rotor, is 3.8. And so it's the power density. Like I was excited about the G motor at first, like compact direct drive, but the power per weight is significantly worse than any other.
Yeah, but also the efficiency wasn't all that good.
And then as a result of that, when you use it at a decent power, the efficiency is really low. So
mid-70s about.
Yeah. So anyway, so my enthusiasm was tempered with the G series motor once I actually had one on hand.
A living sculpture here.
That iron
That is cool.
look at the details of the clamshells and the snails.
Oh yeah.
On the gun, that harpoon gun.
It's like a fish submarine.
It's like the Nautilus.
But done like
Captain Nemo.
And then the harpoon on the top.
Oh yeah.
Now that if you get a chance to have a close look at that, it's the best piece of metal art I think I've ever seen. Impressive.
Well, did you want to see the?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, let's go.
You guys are going down to Syracuse tomorrow?
Yeah, we're gonna hang out with that kids for a bit.
What time are you going?
Tonight.
Are you leaving tonight to
We're
Syracuse?
gonna bike down there tonight. And then tomorrow he's gonna take us surfing. I've never surfed in my life and I'm so excited.
Good for you. It's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah. So yeah, how did you wind up in this field, becoming such a legend in your own right?
Well, in the past, I had an operation on my right knee, so I had to do some kind of electric assist.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So you actually had a knee problem and needed...
Right. That's how I got started.
Huh. And so you rode bikes a lot before that?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I can't ride like a normal person in the past unless I got some kind of assist.
Yeah. And how long ago was this?
Well, that was like 5-6 years ago.
Okay. And so what did you end up getting for your? And is this in San Francisco?
San Francisco. Yeah, I have tried a number of electric bikes, scooters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Many varieties. Like RC motors, hub motors, e-hub motors, DC motors. Yeah. That was fun for me. It's kind of my hobby.
Yeah.
You know? I like to try the different things.
Yeah. But then when did you realize there was an opportunity for doing customized performance motor controllers?
Well, it was like 3-4 years ago.
Okay. Oh wow.
How about you?
What is this? Oh.
That's someone else.
Yeah, I was gonna say
This is nice. Human power. Yeah, I saw that guy riding like 4 hours ago.
So you go right here at the motor party.
You guys from like the magazine? The bike magazine?
Sure. Thanks.
I'm good. Momentum, that's fine.
Yeah, it is a good one.
We're from Vancouver, so I get those.
Oh yeah? Oh, okay, wow.
Too big and heavy for me to handle. Wow. Oh no! I'm just looking at his bike.
Okay.
Yeah, I won't walk out here and anything.
I want to look at this bike too.
Show and tell time. Show and tell.
Oh my god.
All right, so what have we got here?
The trail bike there, yeah, Pat.
But you recognize that. Put this away before I forget.
It's an EcoSpeed.
It's even got a hydration system.
Yeah. So I got the hydration bladder here, an extra bottle there.
Go ahead.
What do you got? Carbon fiber only in the fenders?
Carbon fiber in the fenders, front and rear. It's a crank drive. Actually, you know what? I should probably pull this out. You can see both sides of it more easily.
Okay.
Because the drivetrain's on the right side.
This bike is the most efficient.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
what
we have raced like
Okay.
3 times already over the past 3 years.
Is that a bike? No, it's not. Who's that?
This. Yeah, it's a bike. I'm going to turn right on that one.
You wait till here, they're gonna get sticky up.
Be careful. Excuse me.
In a moment I will. I had those custom made. There was a guy in Virginia who goes by the name Andy Inchville.
Yeah?
He made them for me for I think $75. I got one of these and one is 120, which is too big.
That's so loose.
No, this is 120.
Is that delivered? Or,
No, it's not delivered. It's the freewheel.
Freewheel.
That reminds me. Are you guys going to come out with a? I know you don't do crank drives, you like doing gut motors, but if you could come out with a good, solid bearing, so
Yeah.
they don't get this crap.
Yes. What about those? Is that the EcoSpeed?
It's very like the EcoSpeed that's
Yeah.
available.
The EcoSpeed now machine their own.
Yeah, I know.
I think they use a wire industry freewheel.
Yeah, the White Industries apparently still doesn't have 2 bearings on each side.
Okay. Yeah, you totally need 2 bearings if you have
And someone that I was here said the BCS Crossfire had 2 bearings. So I got another crank with the Crossfire, so this one finally failed.
Yeah.
Crank on the other bearing.
Yeah. No, I mean, I
But this is like the EcoSpeed, except the EcoSpeed, they mount theirs down. Actually, not on this bike, they mount it down here, but on our bike, they mount it down here. Which I think is not as good because it's in the line of fire, the front wheel.
Yeah.
If it hits something, it's also reduces the clearance. Whereas here, it's in the triangle, it's very strong. And if you could put tabs on the tubes, you wouldn't need this plate. This is a 1/4-inch plate, which is what it weighs about that. But I got 3 chain rings, big ring. It's a 62, 46, I think. Oh, this is 48, 60, 48, and 20. So I've got a very, and then there's an 1134 in here.
wow. And then with the electric assist, you probably only need a tiny fraction of that. You might have to go under the rate of use.
It depends on the terrain. If I'm doing dirt, I'll often go for smaller. really steep and slippery.
Yeah.
This also has to be a heavy-duty chain because like the planetary gearbox, it's more.
So that's a way larger ratio of your motor drive than those motors that are being used for it.
That's what I don't understand how EcoSpeed can do that, because they're going to be, and they're doing it at 36 volts
Yeah.
stock, 48 volts is an option. See, if I go full throttle, this thing is, I'm turning.
What cadence is it full throttle?
It's around 110, 105, 110.
I guess with EcoSpeed they have a torque control motor controller. It's never the unloaded RPM is kind of irrelevant. Like it's just injecting
Yeah.
or it's a power controller,
Yeah,
right?
they're using their own custom control.
Yeah.
I find at 24 volts, just when I'm running,
Yeah.
gives me just the right amount.
Huh.
And in fact, I can switch, there's a switch here, switch this on to 115% throttle on
Yeah.
its controller. It's a little bit unstable at freestyle, but under load, it actually will increase the load. I'm not quite sure
Yeah.
how it does it.
They overmodulate the waveform. So instead of it being like a trapezoidal drive, it's a square wave where it's on and off for 180 degrees in the cycle.
So is it really fully on?
Yeah, it's like there's a zone when the instead of driving like the back EMF is sort of a sine wave, and a normal controller only drives it for the upper 2/3 and the lower 2/3, and the period in the sine wave where it's ramping up and ramping down, it just leaves it alone. There's not much. You get less efficiency when you run current through the coil until it's at the top of its back EMF voltage. But if you do drive it over the full wider range, then your average back EMF is less, which means if you have less back EMF voltage, you can get a higher speed.
Oh, okay. I did some tests with efficiency, and I found that under load, under heavy load, doing that full wave, it's a little bit more efficient.
Well, that's interesting. I would expect that like theoretically it should be less efficient because you're dealing with a lower average back, you know.
I mean, it's not a huge difference. It was, before the maximum.
It might have been
efficiency
because you're just
started-
going a bit faster, getting the hill over a bit sooner.
No, I was measuring it with a power
Okay.
tap hub.
Okay. Oh, I see.
Measuring, power in, power
Oh, you have
out.
a power tap, huh?
I'm not on this.
Okay.
I did when I was doing tests.
Okay. It's the same gearing and everything, but actually like a direct mechanical power measurement.
I'm
That's
using the brake, a rim brake, so it's a motor brake.
yeah.
Batteries, let's see, these are volt batteries. Never given me any problem. And they're about 90% capacity.
Those are the
Valence.
valence. Yeah.
These big.
I was wondering what valence. Can I get a photo?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
You want the battery or?
Yeah, just like that. Great. And then do you have a support on the bottom of that?
No, it's just hanging. It's about 15 pounds. I normally don't carry these in these big pouches, but I had some extra storage space.
And then is the reason for the double derailleur is just to drop the chain line below the bag?
No, actually, it's to take up extra slack because
Well, because there's so much chain ring size.
there's so much chainring size match.
Right.
Well, actually, with the modern derailleurs, I probably could do it without that.
Okay.
But I like having that there because it does drop. It makes it a little bit easier to chain out of the way.
Yeah. And then
So you put this whole electric bike together yourself?
Yeah. Well, the bike started off as an Easy Racer build.
Yeah, like, I mean the drive and the mount. Well, you've done.
The motor mount I made. I was going to have something to show you. There's a lot of weight. I had time. I didn't listen.
and then the sun is.
No, this one, well,
Okay.
so there's a woman, Melanie, Nancy, racers, also up there.
And is that mostly just to keep the wind off of you? Or does that actually serve you?
It improves the body gets.
Is that how you quantify your mileage? Different without the fairing?
The front tire alone gets about 10%, and the soft gets another